It's not a bad thing to be excited about Halo, okay? It's not a bad thing to be optimistic. It's not a bad thing to be happy that we're finally getting some good news in this massive content drought that we have gotten over the last few years, okay? I think people need to understand the Slip Space engine was apparently a huge source of a lot of problems with Halo Infinite's development, even though it was touted as the future of Halo and it's going to be a platform and all this and that. And it's nice that they're moving to Unreal for one reason, because now they can bring in folks that know how to use it, but prettier graphics, better looking visuals don't actually fix any of the issues that people have had with 343 over the years. Where in the main complaints about 4, 5, and Infinite were people complaining that the graphics weren't good enough? Like, people complain about art style, yeah, that was definitely there, but like graphical fidelity, I don't recall that ever being an issue. Not to be a Scrooge, but to try to just bring people back down to earth. I get it, this is exciting, it looks good, but this doesn't actually address anything that we had issues with 343 up to this point, okay? We don't need Halo to look like a Discovery Channel documentary of the Pacific Northwest. You know, like, it doesn't have to be that realistic. Are good graphics a good thing? Yes, of course. I've seen people complaining that this looks too plasticky. I'm like, yeah, it does, but I can't really say I care all that much. Anyway, I don't want them to lose their art style because they're going for photorealism. We don't need photorealism. If it's cheap and easy to do, I get it, but like, I hope they don't sacrifice the classic look of Halo because they moved to Unreal. That's to be determined. We'll just have to see the more they give us. They mentioned physics specifically in this video, which that's good. If they can do that, then excellent, because physics is a huge part of Halo games. We have confirmation that they're likely going to be able to make games faster. Confirmation, a really heavy implication. They can make games faster because they'll be using Unreal now, so their hiring should be easier. They can bring in people that already know how to use it. So that's with announcement number 1. But the thing is, the Halo content well is so dry and people are going absolutely bananas over this. I personally I'm very neutral on it. I'm like, oh, maybe that means they'll make games like they were supposed to at best. So we'll see. Now, as for announcement number 2, so listen to this very closely.
We are really excited to be not just working on multiple projects, but also expanding our studio.
We're looking for designers, we're looking for artists, we're looking for engineers.
We're looking for people come work for us. Designers, artists, and engineers. Why might that be? This is why. Microsoft has reportedly laid off around a quarter of 343 Industries. And what was one of the first groups of people to get the boot? The art team, the people who worked on the campaign. Hey, we know we laid off a ton of you. You want to roll the dice and come work at our company? I'm sorry, but if they couldn't handle Halo Infinite, if it was such a burden for them to make Halo Infinite, which released as half a game, how are we supposed to be excited about them announcing they're taking on multiple projects and expanding their studio? If they can't even get one game right, how are they supposed to get 2 or 3 or more? Again, I want more Halo projects. I just want them done well. It's been 9 years since they released a fully complete game. No, Halo 5 wasn't even complete. It was missing Forge at launch and several game modes too. So, I mean, my God, Halo 4 came out back in 2012. So it's been 12 years since they released a complete product. And now they're telling us they're taking on multiple projects? That's crazy. I got a lot of faith in Unreal Engine, I'll tell you that much. Right, so my thing is, instead of telling us, hey, we're expanding the studio, we're making all these games, why don't you give us one game? Why don't you show us that you can make one? I have no fact to base this off of. This is just a prediction, but I could see them releasing a Combat Evolved remake that doesn't have a multiplayer component at all as a test run for their working with Unreal. I wouldn't be upset by that, by the way. I don't think Combat Evolved needs a remake, but even if the remake comes out, Combat Evolved still exists, so that won't stop me from enjoying the original. Put out a demo. Well, that's the thing. I think their demo is going to be a $70 remake of Combat Evolved. They don't have to worry about hiring writers. All of their art team and design team can just look back at a game that already exists, you know, shave off a ton of work. It's a lot of work to make a game from the ground up, of course it is, because this is going to be ground up. It's a different engine entirely. I would not be shocked if that's what we hear next. Maybe they'll do a platform multiplayer like Call of Duty. I hope not, but I can see them doing that. I'm not pessimistic, okay? Let me get that straight. I'm just trying to remind everyone that I know the Halo content creators their juices are just flowing right now because of this, but I'm like, hey, let's come back down to earth on this a bit. Let's go over this last piece of news. They rebranded as Halo Studios. There is a whole online discourse by this point about what this means. Is it significant? When it comes to rebranding a studio, it's like a rectangle and a square. If you have 4 right angles and 4 lines, 100% of the time it is a rectangle right here, okay? However, it's not always a square. The rectangle represents public perception. The square represents actual internal changes. When you rebrand a company, it's always to change public perception. It's not always because you're actually changing anything internally. Now, I get it. Everyone likes to use the super blanket statement, leadership. You know, leadership is different now. Kiki, Bonnie, and Frank are all gone, okay? But leadership is not just those 3 people. 343, now Halo Studios, is still owned by Microsoft. That hasn't changed. And Microsoft has yet to prove that they can handle owning a studio, at least in recent years. Let me show you guys something. This was regarding Halo 4, 343's first Halo game. Basically, they were being asked, hey, how much are other popular games going to influence what you do, aka Call of Duty? And what were we told? You'll definitely see places where the streams cross, but we're absolutely strategically not trying to copy anybody. I think that's a foolish path to go down. And what did we get? We got customizable loadouts, sprint, and kill streaks, basically. Score streaks, more like. They blatantly tried to rip off Call of Duty with Halo 4. So those words meant nothing. Frank O'Connor's gone. Frank said 2 things about the people who worked on Halo 4. One, he said, we got a bunch of people that loved Halo. And then in a different interview, he said, we got people that hated Halo for X reason. So kind of contradicting there. But either way, that turned out to not be true. What did they tell us about Halo 5 that turned out to not be true? How about their entire marketing campaign? Y'all remember Hunt the Truth? It was this super cool like podcast type thing. Chief's gone rogue. He massacred civilians at a peace rally and like all kinds of crazy stuff. Unironically, the story for Hunt the Truth is better than the Halo 5 campaign we got. What did we get out of Halo 5? Not this. Not this. Chief disobeys one order, and then you play as someone you don't even know hunting him down. There's nothing intricate about it at all. By the way, between every Halo game, they like to remind us, oh, we learned lessons about the last Halo game, and we're so passionate about Halo, can't wait to give you the next game. What was the very first thing that they told us about Halo Infinite before they'd even announced the title of the game?
Can we reveal anything about the next Halo FPS title today?
I think the only thing that will confirm, as we do listen to fans, there will be split screen.
For any FPS going out forward, we will always have split screen in going forward.
Guess what Halo Infinite did not have at launch? Split screen. Guess what it did not ever get? Split screen. I think there's multiplayer split screen, but not campaign. To this day, Infinite still doesn't have campaign split screen. That's 3 mainline FPS games in a row where they promised something or said something, reminded us about how much they love Halo, how passionate they are, they can't wait to show us the next game, and it turned out to be wrong, a lie, or a half-truth every time. Bonnie Ross is gone too, by the way. This right here.
Infinite was the last remnants of how we made Halo games in the past. That was our recipe. And what we're doing right now, we're changing that recipe.
So when I hear this is our new recipe, this is the new Halo going forward, I'm like, dude, you've already done the new Halo 3 times. Halo 4, Halo 5, and Halo Infinite all serve as basically a reboot of Halo. 5 a little less so in story-wise, because it is a direct sequel to 4, but gameplay-wise and multiplayer focus-wise, I'd call it a refresh. Here's my proposal. Why don't we wait until they have something to show us? Because words are valuable, and over the years, 343, I'm gonna call them 343, over the years, 343 has cheapened the value of their talk. Their talk is cheap. They need to make their words valuable again by backing up what they say, and they haven't done that for 12 years. Not to say there haven't been successes, like there's been things they've done well over the last 12 years. I still think 4JI is huge for the Halo series. Show, don't tell. And as of right now, all they've shown us is Unreal Engine and how pretty it looks. This does nothing to quell any of my concerns about the next Halo game. Not even the leadership. You know, between every Halo game, there's always new people. I guarantee you, Go back to the Vidocs for 4, go back to the Vidocs for 5. You'll see different people who are no longer at the studio talking about the next Halo game, how excited they are about it. I see the same thing here. My proposal is just wait till they have something more to show us. And I don't mean what the game looks like. We already know it's going to look good. We need to see content at launch. What will the game have at launch? Don't just tell us, show us, because obviously they can't be trusted with their words. Show us your monetization. Now, they will not have the balls to show that before the game comes out, I promise you. But I want to see how they're going to monetize the game before it comes out, before I get excited. That's what I need to see to get excited about the next Halo game. Not graphics, not visuals. If this really does clear off so much of their plate that now they can just pump out all these Halo games, well, I need them to show us that. In fact, Halo Infinite being such a colossal failure and flat out scam in some regards was a big part of inspiring me to make my main YouTube channel in the first place. Go back to my earliest vids, they're Halo. Good graphics don't cure bad writing. They don't cure corporate greed. They don't cure corporate apathy. All the issues that people have had with Halo for over a decade, this doesn't cure that on its face. This sends the message that they want another chance. This sends the message that they're ready to try a new way. But we've gotten a lot of messages from them over the years that turned out to mean nothing. Not trying to ruin everyone's parade. I just want everyone to know what something like this actually means. What it means is that they are the rectangle. They for sure want to change the public perception, but we don't know for sure it's actually going to change much within the studio internally. This person has drummed up a lot of controversy, especially on Twitter. Personally, I would need to see evidence of activism-driven stuff before I jump to that conclusion. Say they remake Halo Combat Evolved and they just race swap half the cast for no reason. That's when I'd be like, okay, yeah, I see it. People were upset, not because, well, some people probably just don't like seeing a black person here. That I'm sure those people exist, and the colored hair. I think it's because she's got rainbow stuff in a bio on something, and so it led people to the assumption. But like, dude, Halo's already released several skins for International Women's Day and Pride, this and that. Like, it's already there. I would need to see evidence of that actually changing the way that they make their product before I jumped on that train. So anyway, I think that's all I got on this. It's a depressing reality. The one good piece of news we've gotten in multiple years. It has implications, but it doesn't actually mean anything.